Namaskar, everybody. Today I want to introduce you to another great resource for Prabhat Samgiita. I call it the Prabhat Samgiita Web Interface, or PSWI for short. Many of you are probably already acquainted with the Prabhat Samgiita Player app. Like PSP, the PSWI is free of charge, and it can also play or stream all of the currently nearly 6,000 available audio recordings of Baba's more than 5,000 songs. Naturally, many of the features of the PSWI will overlap with the features of PSP. But the PSWI has its own unique features, and I expect that many of you, not everybody, and not always, will actually come to prefer the PSWI. So without further ado, let's take a look at what we now have. So the first thing you'll probably notice about PSWI is that it runs out of your preferred web browser. Safari, Microsoft Edge, Firefox, doesn't matter really. All you have to do is go to ps.sarkarverse.org and you will be presented with a login page. So unlike the Prabhat Samgiita Player app, there is no installation. You just need an account. And the reason for that account is that there are many customizations that you can do. You can create your own playlists, your own way of viewing the app. You have your own identity if you get into any kind of social networking, you want to pass a comment, or you want to have some personal or private playlists. So it's all about having your own personalization of Prabhat Samgiita and how you prefer to listen to it, how you prefer to hear it. You have your own set of settings for the interface, some options that you can set. You have your own sets of playlists and how you want to play them, what you want to do with streaming, and you can also refine your account. Create your own avatar, have your own full name, and that will be necessary for getting an account, though, as I stated, you have the opportunity, the absolute ability to change that, to change your email address, to create a new password. So what you will have to send in the first phase is just a full name, because it's a compulsory field, an email address. It will be assumed that whatever email address you send your request for an account from will be your email address, and some temporary password, whatever you like, 1234, Bhavanam Kevalam, it doesn't matter. Because, as I said, you can come into your settings and change all those account settings and create your own avatar, your own preferred interface. Once you've got things set up the way you want, obviously the first thing you'll be interested in is to play some music. And so the first step might be to browse the library. And you will find that you have 112 pages of all the songs, all the song recordings that are available on Sarkarverse right now, listed in chronological and numerical order. The total for now is 5,594, but we will be adding recordings from time to time. That's inevitable, and from time to time that will get updated on a global scale. You don't have to won't have to worry about that. So with each of these songs, you have the ability to play it. And if you have a playlist, you can go to the next song or the previous song. You can, as I said, create playlists. Now let's look at this list a little closer. You will see that under artist, not always, but in most cases, it will be an unknown artist. The reason for that is that the songs, the MP3 files that were inherited, were not well constructed in terms of tagging. And so in most cases, those MP3 files had no information in them at all, sometimes wrong information, and often completely useless information. However, I have done a lot to fix that, but I could not fix the artist field. It just was too much work. I don't have months at my disposal to go through all 6,000 MP3 files and fill in the artist field, assuming I can identify the artist. For all of these songs, I leave that for someone else to think about, or maybe a whole team of people to think about. In addition, you can also do various actions. For example, and pardon me, but I don't know what all of these actions are necessarily. For example, I'm not sure what happens when I post a shout. But I'm assuming that anyone who is currently browsing their songs, currently in the Apache based, if you know Apache, then you will already be familiar, more familiar than I am, with this entire web interface. You can share a song that, wow, you think this is so great, everybody's got to hear it. You can share playlists also, or you can even download the song. One of the things you'll like to do, I assume, is create playlists. Now, I've cataloged the song, as with Sarkarverse, in the way in which I inherited these songs. We inherited them on Sarkarverse, and that, as some of you may know, came from the old website, older than Sarkarverse even. The older website, prabhatasangita.net. It's a great site, and they did some fantastic work with Prabhat Samgeet in the early days. But after some time, I discovered that my web links to Prabhat Samgeet weren't working. The web links that were there to audio files on Prabhat Samgeet were not functioning anymore, and that was impacting Sarkarverse. And so an arrangement was made that all the MP3 files were moved from prabhatsamgiita.net to sarkarverse.org. And later they sorted out their problem, and again it seems they've put up their MP3 files, but I suspect there are more of them available now on Sarkarverse. Like I said, prabhatsamgiita.net, actually don't forget the A, prabhatsamgiita.net, has a lot of valuable resources there. There are even some things that are there that are unique to that site, not available on Sarkarverse. But much of what is available is not so convenient or practical, or even occasionally so informative as what you will find on Sarkarverse. But again, it's a site that everybody should know about and everybody should consider looking at and even using the resources to be found there. But one of the things, and how I got started on this, that I wanted to mention is that the organization of the songs is all derived from what was available on prabhatsamgiita.net. So where I might have thought to organize it in terms of songs 1 to 1,000, 1,001 to 2,000, it was organized in this fashion on prabhatsamgiita.net. And when the MP3 files came to Sarkarverse, that same directory structure, that same folder structure was maintained in case anybody was linking to what was previously on prabhatsamgiita.net but had gone down. So we keep that directory structure, that folder structure, as a legacy. Now, coming back to the PSWI. Like I said, you can create playlists. And when you play the playlists, you can also play them in a random order or in the order that they are constructed. I constructed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 playlists based on the catalogs that I created of the songs available on Sarkarverse. So you have, for example, a playlist with all of these songs from the live performances. Files that were inherited, as I mentioned, from prabhatsamgiita.net. Or you have, for example, a playlist of the 1102 audio files that we now have in that range from song number 1, Bondu Hey Nye Chalo, to song 999. Okay, let's say you want to play this playlist. You can click here, for example, play all, and eventually the player will appear at the bottom of your screen and begin to play the songs. Like I said, as the playlist is now in chronological order, it will also play in that same chronological order, but you can change the order. You can have randomize it. What more shall I tell you? Obviously, you'll prefer to eventually create your own playlists, and that's rather easy, though it may take some getting used to. So for example, let's create a playlist right now. And again, if you are acquainted with this Apache software that is not on your computer, but rather on the host server, which is Sargaverse, well, then you don't need any of this. You create some rules. We do a search of songs. Let's say you want to have all of the songs that Baba composed in his first year, 1982. I added tags to all the MP3s based on the year in which the song was composed, not the year in which some artist decided to sing the song in front of a microphone. So, for example, any searchable text is a possible search, or you could search for the year. And not is greater than or equal to, but equals, and let's say 1982. And we search for all the songs that match those criteria, and if it works, we will get the list. And it starts out being randomized. I think somebody assumed that people will want to have a random playlist, and maybe they do. Most people might, I don't know. But if you want them in their proper order, in their correct chronological order, click Song Title, and click it again, and you'll get it in that correct or chronological order. The next thing to do if you want to create a new playlist, you clear whatever might be in your playlist. I mean, this is the way I do it. It's probably a very uninformed way to do it. There might be a better way. And then you add it to a new playlist. Or you can save it as a smart playlist and try and do it that way. But let's add it to a new playlist. Now we've added all those songs to a new playlist. We go to our list of playlists and we have this. Whoops, we didn't add anything. Let's go back to our search. Real quickly. The year is 1982. And we need to search for equals. I want my playlist in chronological order. So I click Song Title till I have it in chronological order. Then I need to add all of them to the playlist. So, oh, here it is up here, sorry. Add search results. And it comes up here in the playlist. Now I add to a new playlist. And I should have what I want. So I go back to my playlists. Let's get rid of that. Go back to my list of playlists. This one, which I created before with 0 songs, is not interested. Delete it. And this one with 329 items are all the audio recordings for Baba's songs that were composed in the year 1982. Remember, Baba only started to compose songs on September 14th of 1982, so that represents October, November, December, 3.5 months. In those first 3.5 months, Baba gave how many songs? Well, let's see what the final song was. We're looking at the full list. 306 307, 300 and, sorry, whoops. Those are the track lists. There are many, many different recordings of the same song. So Baba gave a total of 181 songs in those first 3.5 months of 1982. He didn't start out as fast as he got, and he didn't start out slowly either. All right, so you're getting an idea of how this all works. You can play any of these, either clicking here or, you know, whatever. If once you're in a playlist, it means something to go to the next song. You can allow notifications where you get a balloon popping up. So you can, like any normal player, you can go to the next song, or you can go to the previous song. I hope I'm playing the playlist. Like I said, I'm still fairly new to this myself. You can go to the next song. The next song in your playlist. Or your previous song. Or you can stop playing altogether, of course. You can randomize it, you can loop it, like a normal player. So this is a beginner's picture of what you can do with the Prabhat Samgiita web interface. And I hope everybody likes it. That's it. Namaskar. By the way, if you want to log out, very easy. You click that and you're out again. Okay, so there's just one thing more that you need to know, and that is, how do you get your username and password or your free account for the Prabhat Samgiita web interface? And the answer to that is, go to the Prabhat Samgiita portal on Sarkarverse. If you're looking at any song on Sarkarverse, any song at all, it doesn't really matter which one. They all have a info box. And at the bottom, you have a link to the Prabhat Samgiita portal. When you get to the Prabhat Samgiita portal, under the section on audio files, you have instructions on how to get the Prabhat Samgiita player app, and now you also have instructions on how to access the web interface that we've just discussed, and finally, how to get your user account. It's basically just send an email. What has to be in that email, but most of the information you will find in the email itself. Give your full name, give your preferred username, and a temporary password. That's all I need to have. And check back in 24 hours. When I say check back, all I mean is go to the Prabhat Samgiita web interface and try to log in with that same username that you provided in your email and the temporary password. And in most cases, your account will already be set up long before that 24 hours, but you can give it 24 hours to be safe. So that's the story, and namaskar.